Okay, so
Moving on to board games and card games. And we have one of each.
there is a card game that do we own everything?
I think there's a couple of promos we're missing now,
Ah, okay.
but
It takes up 2 huge drawers in a, large wall cabinet we've got, and we're running out of space.
and we have another expansion to sleeve up and put in there, and I think that's going to be the one that makes us have to move out of those
The
2
whole
drawers.
point of buying that wall cabinet was to house Dominion.
So Dominion is a deck building game from 2008. And it won basically every single award going that year because of how innovative it is. And there have been lots of imitations since then, but for our money, the complete Dominion expansions with everything is just an experience that can't be beat.
It's so much so that it's like, if we could save... Oh, okay, this is both of our board games that we're about to bring up now. They are, if we could only save one board game, these are the 2 we would save. Now, Dominion is, the one we would save if we had time to plan, because that is so hard to transport.
Dominion
It's
has
huge.
near infinite replay. So in Dominion, it's a deck builder game. So what happens is you start the game with the same basic deck of 10 cards, and then a random set of different cards is put in the middle. There's some that are always used, like your basic economy cards, your victory point cards, and then there are action cards, and these change through every game. And every game you use 10 different piles of action cards, and there are now over 400 different cards that
Really?
you could use.
I mean, I knew we had a lot. I knew this, viscerally. I knew
I
this
think we
because one day... I accidentally, when I was cleaning the fish
I
tank,
remember this.
I tipped the whole thing of Dominion over, and we had to sort it.
It took a while.
It took a while because I'm pretty sure I was
Yeah.
heavily pregnant at the time, and I just couldn't
I've
be
seen
bothered.
the maths for how many different combinations of sets that is somewhere, and it's something in the quintillions. It's
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Wow.
there's so
Yeah.
much replay. And so the strategy of this game is all about buying cards that improve your deck so that you can get the most victory cards as efficiently as possible. And so whether you're using a pre-chosen set or whether you're using the randomizer and just pulling random sets out, it's all about looking for the little combos, the little strategies that you can use.
There are, of course, fan sites where people have written up sets that they've found really synergistic. Because it's sometimes, randomizer can be fun, but sometimes it's a bit clunky. But then sometimes you get these really sweet synergies. that
We
just
also
come
quite like
together.
doing themed sets.
Oh, yeah.
And so sometimes...
And it's guess the theme.
Yeah, after we did Dracula the pantomime, we had a lot of fun putting together a themed Dracula set and then playing
Or
that.
I think we did multiple, didn't we? We were like, this is the Transylvania set. This is the
Yes, we
Whitby
did.
set. This is the Chase. Yeah.
Dominion's rules are just really smooth and simple. It's a really easy game to introduce to new people,
Yeah.
and there's so much replay value. And depending on what cards you use, the strategy of the game changes so much that I think it's a game we could play for our entire lives and not get tired of it,
Which
and not
is
run out
why,
of possibilities.
yeah.
And that's,
Given the time, that is the one we would save. Now, if we didn't have the time, if we could only save one thing, in one box, just complete, enclosed in itself, the game that we would save would be...
Pandemic.
Touchy subject right now, but it is...
Poor timing.
Yeah.
But Pandemic was one of the first of the cooperative board games.
Oh, really?
And not the first. I actually found the story behind it. The game designer was making a lot of competitive games, and it was actually starting to affect his marriage because he and his wife were playing against each other all the time, and they were constantly
Right.
butting heads.
This is
And
actually a really
so
good
the
point,
game
'cause,
designer
yeah.
decided that he was going to make a cooperative game so they could work together.
Yeah, because we got discovered we discovered that someone had written about me in a collection of women game designers, right?
Yes, that's right.
They'd collated a whole lot of women game designers, and they had written articles, actually studied stuff, realizing that women tend to be way more willing to play board games if they're collaborative, and women tend to design more collaborative board games. We say that, but Cat Capers is brutal and nasty. But anyway,
Yes.
so
So
yeah, I can
in
see
Pandemic, all of the players are a team of scientists working against the board to cure 4 different pandemics that have broken out around the world. So you're travelling around the globe trying to stop further outbreaks of disease while researching the cures for them.
And trying to administer the cures, and yeah.
And the pacing of the game is
It's
pretty perfect.
The maths on this is so tight.
Where the game escalates over time. And so just about every game you play, you'll reach a point where you'll go, this isn't going so badly.
Yeah.
Look,
yeah.
we've got 3 of our cures and the diseases are all fine. But as the game escalates over time, the diseases get more and more severe. Just about every game will wind up coming down to the wire where you'll go, if we had one more turn, we would have done it. Or, oh, I'm so glad we won now because we were on the verge of losing everything here.
Yeah, it's that tight that it's either 1 turn loss, 1 turn win.
Pandemic is a wonderful game, but if we had to really pick the best game, it's Pandemic Legacy. So, Pandemic Legacy has the same idea, except you're playing over the course of a year, and the actions that you take in one game and the results that you have in one game will affect the outcome of the next game. And every month, new rules get added to modify the experience. Pandemic Legacy Season 1 is the single best board game I have ever played.
We had so much... We are so engaged. I don't think we can talk too much about this without giving any, spoilers away. Any talk we would say would be super spoilery.
Yes, it's quite expensive. Yes, it's designed so that you can only play it once, though there are solutions that you can find online to help you with that.
Yeah, you can do reusable
That said,
stickers.
it is absolutely worth it.
Absolutely.
It is a brilliant game.
I want to frame our board of it.
I want to buy a new copy of it and do it again.
Too.
It was so good.
Yeah, so if you've got any doubts about if you were thinking about buying it, because it's I had doubts about it. I was like, Legacy
We held
game?
off for
No,
a
thank
long
you.
time
That's
on
late
buying
stage
it.
capitalism. No, thank you. But actually, oh my god, it was so good.
And since then, there's also Pandemic Legacy Season 2, which also brilliant, not quite as brilliant as Season 1, and Pandemic Legacy Season 0, which we might wind up giving to ourselves for Christmas.
Might, I think, 100%
We
certainty.
might, because it might not last until Christmas.
Oh, and also, will it even get here by Christmas?
We'll see.
Because, real life Pandemic Series 3, yay!
But yes, if you haven't tried Pandemic Legacy or normal Pandemic, it is an absolutely brilliant game and highly recommended.
And that's us just talking about the base one. We're not even talking about the expansions.
There's a lot of different expansions for it and spin-offs using dice, or there's one where you get to play as the viruses instead of as the humans.
That reminds me, I was going to say, this game probably had it happen as well, but Plague Inc., the app for phones and
Are
tablets...
you going to tell me that it became wildly popular?
When the
Pandemic became wildly popular as well
There
during
you
the
go.
pandemic.
You know what? It couldn't happen to a more deserving game. It's such a good game.
It really is that good.
Yeah.